BYB Bare Knuckle hits the Big Easy for the first time Saturday, July 13th from the John A. Alario Event Center for BYB 28 Bourbon Street Brawl. Two of the biggest and baddest bare knuckle fighters in the world today go toe-to-toe inside the mighty Trigon as undefeated BYB heavyweight champion Hurricane Ike Villanueva takes on number one contender, the Cuban assassin, Gustavo Trujillo, for both the BYB heavyweight belt and the historic Police Gazette World Diamond Belt. Our co-main event, former BYB lightweight champion Monica Medina gets her wish and steps into the Trigon against undefeated Helen Peralta for the inaugural BYB Featherweight World Championship. Catch these matches and more live. Visit BYBExtreme.com for tickets and information.
Welcome to the Original Fighter's Voice. I'm your host, Don Mcguire, and I've been waiting for this show ever since Denver. You know, the one and only Monica Medina. How you doing, homie?
I'm good. How you doing?
I've been wanting you on this show. I did this show even though I haven't been out of bed in 5 days because I'm getting ready for my cervical spine surgery and my lower back decided to give out. But I wasn't going to miss this because first and foremost, you're one of the few people in any aspect of martial arts that I just dig because you don't really give a shit. You say what you got to say. You don't sugarcoat it. I don't like yes people. What is it about Monica Medina that just has you speak what's in your heart and on your mind?
Oh man, I think, years ago I was kind of a quiet person, I just didn't say shit. And as I've gotten older, I'm like, fuck this, fuck everybody, I don't give a fuck. What you gonna do? Whip my ass? If you whip my ass, I'm still gonna talk shit. So I'm just here trying to have fun, let the world know how I fucking feel about things and it's just fun to talk shit and just have fun and let people know how you feel.
I love that. It's the only way to be. I mean, my grandfather always told me if you tell the truth, you don't have to remember the lie. So if I hurt your feelings, that's your problem, not mine.
Yeah, exactly.
For the first time ever, BYB 28, we're getting ready to go down to New Orleans. I mean, it sucks because I was supposed to be able to. Mike already told me I was going to be there. My surgery was supposed to be back in I think April or May, and they kicked it out to the 8th. So I'm not going to be able to be there. But how does it feel for Monica Medina to get nasty in the Big Easy?
Oh man, I am so fucking pumped. A, it's New Orleans, party fucking city. So after this fight, it's gonna be on and popping, And B, it's so close to my hometown, and all my people are gonna be there. It's kind of like fighting at home. So it's gonna be fucking fun.
Yeah. Now, the thing of it is, I loved your epic fights with Patty Juarez, and you proved to be a tremendous warrior, in my opinion. You don't give excuses. You don't complain. You just go do your job. What is it about this sport that truly engulfs you, Monica? Because you can see the love, you can see the passion. Even when you don't come out victorious, you're still stoked. I mean, you're one of the few fighters that I think I've ever seen in this sport that will give it her all and accept a lesson and just move on. What is it about you that allows you to perceive your walk that way?
When I started fighting in general, I was known to be a grappler. I didn't want to throw hands really. I was like, no, fuck that. My dad and my brother, they boxed their whole lives. I didn't meet them till I was older in life, but I found out that they boxed. And actually the first time I ever boxed was when I boxed Patty for the first time. That was my first time ever boxing. And immediately I fell in love with it. Like I fucking like to get hit. It does something to me. It excites me to get hit. And then, to land these knuckles on somebody's face, it's like the best feeling in the world. Nothing beats it. Nothing beats it ever. I'm like, fuck grappling, fuck MMA. Like I am built to bare knuckle box, and it just excites me so freaking much.
Yeah. I'm not going to give the gentleman the time of day because, I'm a little bit different like that. But I recently watched a show, and you and Helen both were on the show, and there was a wager put on top of the fight first. Is that all in actuality, or was that just to get a rise out of each other?
Oh hell no, that's happening 100%. Like if Helen drops me, that's gonna be the first time somebody's ever dropped me with a punch from training to a fight. From I've been hit hard by some big ass fucking dudes, so I have confidence in myself and in my chin that it's not gonna happen. And if she drops me, props to her. I will 100% give her her $1,000, and when she doesn't, I fully expect that she's gonna pay me too. Like that's not just for shits and giggles. That's 100% serious.
Yeah, I love that. See, I wish people understood the sport of bare knuckle, and it's growing. And I'm even finding myself that I don't even want to watch regular MMA
Yeah,
anymore.
me too.
I mean, the UFC just had 303. I watched two fights on the card. I mean, it's something about that night in Denver when we were last, not the last time we were there, but the time before with Irwin and Tonori, that just kind of, it just sucked me in. I mean, I was already a bare knuckle fan, but this one just, there was something about that fight that I saw two warriors, however the sport perceives them, that's their business. But I saw two grown ass men, not one give an inch, not once take a step back, neither one of them. And I got to hand it to Mark Irwin. They got the rematch coming. I believe it's set for September or October. I can't wait to see it because that, if that didn't enthrall you and make you a bare knuckle fan, then I don't know what it is. Monica, what was it for you that brought you to the bare knuckle side? What was it that had you fall in love with it and not want to look back?
Um, when I started bare knuckle in general, it was bare knuckle MMA with Game Bread. I had stopped fighting. I said I was retired from fighting at all. I was running the gym, just kind of teaching kids and stuff. And then bare knuckle MMA came around, and Jorge Masvidal and them, they hit me up. They were coming to Biloxi, and they were like, "Hey, we want you to be a part of the show, the first ever female fight." And I wasn't even training at the time, and I was like, I don't really know. But then I just thought, I was like, bare knuckle, Biloxi, fuck it, let me just try this shit out. And the first time I
Yeah.
hit somebody with my bare knuckles, I was like, oh, I'm back in this shit. But MMA in itself, it used to be my passion, but I just really didn't have the heart for MMA anymore. So I did a few of those fights, and then Mel had hit me up to fight Patty when I believe she fought Christine Stanley the first time.
Yeah.
He had hit me up about that, but I had never boxed in my life. So I was like, I don't know. I'm not a boxer. And then he was coming to Biloxi, and I saw that he had posted up something about coming to Biloxi. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to give this shit a shot. So I messaged him, and I was like, hey, if you're coming to Biloxi, I'd like to try this shit out. And then he like messaged me right back, and he was like, actually, because I think Christine was supposed to fight again.
Yeah.
And I guess something happened with that. And he was like, we have a spot for you. It's going to be for the world title against our champ. And I was like, fuck it. Let me try this shit out. And as everybody knows, except for those two fucking dumbass judges that shouldn't have been judging that fight, I went in there, and I feel like I definitely won that fight, and I fell in love with boxing. And I'm never looking back from that again.
Yeah. You know, I don't like records in this industry because, like we talked about, I'm transparent, so I'll just go ahead and say it. Like, you know, Helen Peralta said the worst day of her career, one of the worst days of her career was beating Christine Ferreira. And I admire her for that because a lot of people won't own up to that. And the other thing, like I told you, she said, yeah, I beat her on that day. Doesn't mean I can beat her on this day, but I beat her on that. And I've known Helen since before Invicta and Invicta, and she can come across a little dismayed or disrespectful to people. She's a loner. She's an introvert. I mean, and when I saw this fight announced though, and they gave her to tell me to put on the show first, and what I found was really a unique individual, a different thought perception than any other fighter. She didn't talk crap about you. She actually paid you respect, which I like to see that in the sport because if you go to war with somebody, you're gonna be friends one way or another, whether you want to admit it or not. You're gonna be friends. But I'll be the first one. Anybody could tell you she talked crap, but I'll show you the show. She didn't say not one bad word about you. I gave her a little bit of razzing about the bet, but that makes it a good competition, good
Yeah.
sportsmanship. What is it that you see in Helen Peralta, the athlete, that in the mind of Monica Medina, this is a perfect matchup? What makes it that that dream fight?
Initially, right before my fight with Patty in Denver, Helen had did like a podcast, I think, with who Joel, and that was the first time. I guess I did a podcast with him like a couple of years ago or something, and he must have asked me if I would fight her, and I said yes. No, no harm, no foul. Well,
Yeah.
she did a podcast with him, and I guess she got a little butt hurt. She was talking a little shit, calling me a bitch, hyping it up. So after that fight with Patty, that's when I got on the mic and I was like, "Hey, you want to fucking fight? We can do this." I fully expected Helen to be a fucking asshole, a bitch, talk a bunch of shit. But then when me and her got on the podcast together, she was different. She was cool. Somebody that I can see, us hanging out after this fight. But something about her as an athlete is I think she's kind of like me. She doesn't give a fuck. She's going to
Yeah.
go in there. She's going to give it 100%. We're going to go out there. We're going to fuck each other up. And then, afterwards, we're going to go out and we're going to have a fucking beer, 2 beers, however many fucking beers we want to have. So I think she's kind of just like me. We're going to go out there. We don't give a fuck. We're going to throw these fucking hands. We're going to put on a show. And it's going to be the best fight of the fucking night.
See, I love that. I love that about you. I mean, that's tremendous. Rick Caruso from BKFC. Man, I only like one BKFC fighter, and that's Slick Rick. I ain't gonna lie. I've always liked Slick Rick. Well, I take that back. Travis Thompson, he's an all right dude too, and a good brother of mine says, "Hey," from Steve Schroeder. But you know, I like your attitude, and I like the way that you're succeeding in this industry because a lot of people don't understand, the ups and downs. A lot of people want to just quit when things don't go their way. Not you.
No,
Who was it in the early walk of Monica Medina that instilled that I don't know, that pride, that inner self-worth that won't let you back down?
honestly, there's really nobody. I think it's just who the fuck I am. When I started fighting, I was before I started fighting, I was almost 200 pounds,
Yeah.
just sitting on the sidelines watching my kids do jujitsu. Not interested in anything. And then one day I was like, all right, you got to lose weight. You're a fat ass mom. Your kids are doing this. Like, do something for yourself. So
Yeah.
I was in the gym at Alan Belcher's gym, and I lost 50 pounds in a year just doing kickboxing classes, fitness stuff. And
Yeah.
they asked me to be a part of the fight team to help the only girl that they had on the fight team. And I said, absolutely the fuck not. Like, I'm not here to get hit in the face. Not doing it. And Jason Knight, actually, I'm sure a lot of people know his crazy ass.
I know.
He's probably been one of the biggest influences on me because he's fucking crazy. He grabbed me one night. I was trying to leave the gym and he was like, "Get your ass in here and train with Mickey." And I was like, "No." He literally picked me up, drugged me in the cage, and mounted me and started punching me. He was like, "If you don't fucking hit me back, I'm gonna beat your ass." And from that day on, I started fucking fighting. And man, so honestly, I think Jason Knight has a big part of who I am. Yeah, I love that fucking dude. He's so crazy.
Oh, I love him too. The kid,
The
you know.
kid, man, yes.
Yeah, I know Jason. God, well, because see, most people don't realize that I was part of the Bare Knuckle Fighting Federation. So, to little dismay of the colonel of BKFC, he wasn't the first bare knuckle promotion in the United States. Bare Knuckle Fighting, Federation under Boss Rutan was, and Feldman was a part of that, but he ran like a little girl. And then he started BKFC, and I started at BKFC one. He ripped me off then, and so we tried again several years later. Just it didn't work out, and I'm not ashamed to say that I took him in front of the commission over some stuff that I've seen and made him sell to Triller. But I think you're the perfect guest for me to air this out because what I witnessed down in Jackson, Mississippi was a promotion that was writing bad checks, canceling fighters, flights, and it just was disrespectful. And then the commissioner came up and said he witnessed them betting on their fights. Well, when you say that in front of a world famous Hall of Fame referee and someone like myself, of course I'm going to protect the fighters. I've been in the sport my whole life to protect the fighters. So I told him you have till Tuesday night to come on my show, or I'm going to rip your nuts off, Feldman. And He came on my show, and 4 days later, he ended up selling to Triller. People say, Don, you didn't accomplish what you set out to do. Well, in reality, I did, because even though I don't like that promotion, the fighters are getting paid better. They're getting treated better. Their flights aren't getting canceled. So in regards, I did win. If I was to have to go after Feldman right now, then I would look like an ingrate. I would look like somebody that just has a vendetta. My whole walk in this sport is about the fighters until I met Mike Vasquez.
Mm.
BYB, I could sit here every show and say how much I love the whole crew and the promotion, but it doesn't mean crap coming from me.
Yeah.
You've worked for a multitude of promotions. Have you ever had a promotion treat you like this? Have you ever had a promotion that you respected like this?
No, no. BYB has absolutely been the top of the notch. I fought for a lot of promotions. I was actually asked, BKFC wanted me, but I just no, absolutely not. BYB has been great from, just the way they treat us. They might not pay you millions of fucking dollars, but at the end of the day, they treat you like, you're the most important fighter there. No matter how many fighters they have, you feel like you are the most important fighter there. And they're amazing. Like I've told them, I plan on retiring fighting for them.
Yeah. My Hall of Fame brother and a WBC referee, and he actually refereed to Nori and Irwin won.
Yeah.
His name is Stephen Blea. He says Monica is a freaking warrior. Much props to her. May the best woman win.
Thank you, sir.
That dude's a freaking legend right there. He's going into with another Hall of Fame with me in November, December into the international. It's a pretty cool deal, you know. Hey, can I talk to you about that? I know Mike's probably going to get mad at me, but it's supposed to be your interview. But
That's okay.
you know, I just don't like the hate that some people transpire in this industry. In a lot of ways, I think it's envy. And envy is a momentary lapse of judgment. It's not really hate. How much have you had to deal with? Because let's face it, you fought Helen Peralta. That's a drama show in itself.
I love it.
I mean, not Helen Peralta. I'm sorry. What's her name? Oh my God, why can't I think of her name? Oh my God, you know who I'm talking about.
I fought her in BYB.
I know her name, Pearl Gonzalez.
Oh,
That's a drama show. Yeah, Pearl's a drama show all into herself. I've worked with her. I've never understand her. What was it like to face her in the sport, my friend?
that was cool. She's fought a lot of people. She's been there. She's done that. So just standing across from her to me was cool. Fuck that promotion though. They fucking suck. Anybody from
Yeah,
XFC that's watching, you guys are trash. Speaking of canceling flights, they canceled my coach's flight home. He had to drive all the way back. Fuck them, they suck. But getting in front of her was really cool. It was an experience. I've tried to fight her for Game Bread. I wanted to bare
yeah,
knuckle box with her, but it never happened. So it was just an awesome experience. Like I said, I don't fucking like MMA. I just did it because of her name, and just to have that experience. So it was great. She was great, but
yeah.
fuck that company.
Yeah. Well, more and more it's happening too, and that's why I love BYB so much because I see all these promotions telling fighters they got to sell tickets. Telling BYB would never do that. BYB is a tremendous organization. Not only did they inquire BKB to become the world's largest bare knuckle promotion, they did it and they created a roster so you guys can continually fight on the regular. Mel Valenzuela, I've known Mel for a long time. And you know what? I got to admit, when I interviewed Mike and Greg, we talked about the betting lines. And when you look at the fights, they're like this.
Yeah.
You can't go to any other promotion and find the betting odds just like this. Mel in the industry is creating magic. I don't know any other way to put it. On a fighter's perspective, though, when you see a matchmaker such as Mel Valenzuela, how does it make you feel in your heart and going into the fight, knowing that it's not just the owner, not just the promotion, but the matchmaker has your back too. Because usually a matchmaker really doesn't care. He just wants to set the fight and walk away with it. Mel doesn't do that. What would you like to say, to Mel Valenzuela for creating such even aspects in the fights?
Mel, you are the fucking man. I love it. I don't want to go into a fight where I know that, I'm going to whip her fucking ass. I don't like that. I want to fight somebody that I know if I don't show up at my best, you know, that person's going to whip my ass. Like it, me and Helen, like that's so evenly matched. Like it can go either
Right.
way. Every fight that Mel puts together is fucking amazing. Like the main event, whoo, fire. So Mel does a great fucking job. He goes out there, he finds fights that are so evenly matched. And like you said, everywhere else you go, it's one, you already know who the fuck's gonna win. They put somebody that they like and then they give them some piece of shit that they're just gonna whip their ass. And Mel's not about that. If I was to go out there and ask Mel to give me somebody just so that I could get a W, he would be like, fuck you, Monica. And I appreciate that big time.
Yeah, you really do. You know, the whole promotion is just tremendous. And I when I first went to my first meeting with him, I mean, you got to admit, I'm sitting in the room with Paulie Malignaggi, Mike Goldberg, Claudia Trejos,
I
and
love them.
the whole team, and not one person in that room has an ego.
Mhm.
I've never experienced that at a promotion before in 40 years. A young rising fighter, Ward Lavelle Kendall says, "Love you, sis. One love. You're forever inspiring."
Love you, bro. He's awesome. Love him.
See, this is what I love. That I will because my show's usually at 8 o'clock at night, but you got to be at work. But what I love is the fact that when I do my show, Oxidine, all of them, all show up. Even though they're fighting each other, they all show up to support each other. That's another thing. This promotion has just amazed me. I will retire from BYB. This is probably going to be my last year anyway. But I I love the vision that all of them have, and they all work so hard from Don Povia all the way to the top. But let's talk about your fight because,
Yeah, yeah.
girl, this, well, because, I look at it two ways. You're either going to get a solid opportunity or you're going to get a fighter that is doubting herself. And like she said before, you know, I'm only the fighter that I am the day I show up.
Yep.
But so is Monica Medina.
Yep.
Where does this fight play out in the head of Monica Medina?
Um, in my head, and all respect to Helen, no disrespect at all. But I see it playing out. Obviously, I see myself getting the W. I feel like I'm going to break her physically. I'm going to break her mentally. I'm going to drag her into the deep waters. I'm going to pick her apart, and I'm going to shock the fucking world. That's what's going to happen.
I like
And all
that.
respect to Helen, she's going to bring it, but I'm confident in my game plan and what's going to happen.
That's dope. You could, I mean, even though it was different scenario and different sport, but I remember I had Liam Mcguire and Linton Vassell. They were both fighting for the light heavyweight strap in Bellator, and they wanted to both come on my show at the same time. And I said, "Yo, you guys are fighting each other. Why do you guys want to come on my show at the same time?" And Liam said, "Bro, I'm gonna walk in that cage. I'm gonna put my time card and the clock.
Yep.
We're gonna shut the door. We're gonna go to work. After the fight's over, put my car back in. We're gonna go have dinner and a beer together." And you have basically said the same thing. See, that's what I don't get about the sport. I think if two people have a disagreement or they don't like each other, I don't see how in the hell you can step into the trigon or an octagon or on a mat and beat the hell out of each other and not walk out respecting each other.
That exactly, exactly. And for me, I can't fight with like hate and all that shit, in my head or in my heart. I don't do it for that reason. This shit is fun and this is just the biggest test ever, personally. So I'm not going into this with any hate, any type of animosity. This is just fun for me, And like you said, at the end of this, we're gonna go have a couple fucking beers for
That's
sure.
I love that. Can I take you back a little bit? Because you said something that really intrigued me. You said at one point in time you were 300 pounds,
200.
200 pounds, 200
Mhm.
pounds. Well, what's the
I'm only
difference?
5'4", so if I was 300, oh shit.
Yeah. Then you'd look like Jules Gray.
Ooh.
But anyway, hey, it's my show. I say what I
It's
want.
your show. You say whatever you want.
I'm
Absolutely.
s- well, that's the thing about life, and that's what Mike loves about me is I'm straightforward. I'm not black. I'm black and white. There's no in between with me. If I get up in your feelings, I'm sorry. I'm not going to disrespect you, but I said what I said.
Yeah.
Uh, my brother from Canada says hello, Don. Hello, Don, brother, man, and Monica. They call him Little Holmes, man. He's really good friends with Larry Holmes. He's a great guy. And then Ward Lavelle Kendall says I respect her as a fighter, but I've never seen her go deeper than she thinks she can. You got this, sis. One love. Touch base soon. Heading to my chef job. I can't wait to see you back in action. Monica, what does it mean? Because fighters are starting to pop on. What does it mean for the fighters from BYB to jump on here and show you support? I mean, because I know you're not used to it. I'm not used to it. But BYB is creating a new level
Mhm.
of respect in this industry. And I think it starts at the top because Mike is a no nonsense man and Greg Bloom is a CEO. I think they want to run an organization that isn't like the WWE, doesn't cause dramatics. I mean, and it's proven to work.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. Like on here, people coming on, supporting on here and in person at the shows, every show I've been to, like we're all back there, we're talking, everybody's supporting each other, regardless if we're
Yeah.
fighting each other. It's just a great atmosphere to be in, There's not a bunch of animosity, there's not people shoving each other and acting like you said, like fucking WWE superstars, This is legit. We're all respectful. We know we sign up to do this shit, This is a fucking job, so there's no need for the bullshit.
Yeah. You know, I wish I was going to be there, homie. I can't
I,
tell what.
it's gonna be a great night.
Yeah, well, my son's been sick since last October, like everybody knows, and getting to go to the Denver show was tremendous. And then I, he's I think December 2nd he gets off. Not December 2nd. God, come on, Don. The second of this month he gets off of tomorrow. He gets his pick line out, and we go to oral, and that's going to be a big test. But it's going to free up my schedule a little bit after my surgery. But what are your biggest takeaways thus far from coming from 200 pounds, finding yourself, creating yourself, building yourself? What is the one message you would like to share with the sport, the world, other individuals struggling to find their true identity? What would you like to say to them that, just a word or two or a sentence that helped you, along the way so they can find some peace or some growth on their path?
Yeah, this shit is hard. It's easy to sit back, be depressed, be fat, eat bullshit. It's hard to get your ass up every day, go to the gym, go out and fucking run, put your body through physical pain, mental pain. It is fucking hard, but it's so worth it. If there's
Yeah.
something that's in your head that you're like, maybe I want to try that shit. I want to do that. Fucking do it, Just whatever it is that you want to do, just fucking do it. It's gonna be hard. It's not gonna be easy. If the shit was easy, everybody in the world would do it. Uh, like I said, I was 200 pounds. I was fat. I was lazy. But I had kids that looked up to me, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. I have to do this for my kids. So they're grown now. My youngest is 18. My son's about to be 21. So now I do it for me because it's fun. I found who the fuck I was because I put myself through the hard shit. Now getting up and going and running, going to the gym, that's fucking easy now. It's going to be hard at first, but it gets easy. And if it's something you love, man, you're going to get up and you're going to do it, and the fire's just going to be there every damn day.
Amen. Now, did I hear you correctly? Did you say you had a 21-year-old?
I do. I have an 18-year-old, a 20-year-old, and a 21-year-old. Well, almost 20 and almost 21. Yeah. I
What were
had my
you?
kids when I was young, when I was 18. I had my son. I'll be 40 in October. A lot of people don't believe that, but yeah.
I just turned 62, so I mean, hey, beige don't age.
No, sir.
I love it. I'm sitting there looking at you like there ain't no damn way, but I mean, my son's 38, so it's like, you
Yeah.
know, if you had to look over the shoulder of Monica Medina, what would you say was the one tool, the one mentor, the one asset that allowed you to overcome and still allows you to overcome on your walk through this day?
Um, I my life honestly hasn't been super hard. I had kids when I was young, so I had to grow up really fast,
Yeah.
and take care of them. So I think my kids are the biggest asset, the biggest thing that's helped me get through life. But I haven't had a hard life. I've just done what the fuck I wanted to do in life. Maybe I made a couple bad decisions, but I think my kids honestly are what changed my life and put me on the right track. They're what brought me into fighting. My son was doing jujitsu when he was like 9 years old. He's a little badass, and he wanted mom to do better for herself, and I started to, and so I give props to my kids for sure.
Would you say that your kids have inspired you to become a better warrior?
Absolutely, absolutely. My middle child just went into the Air Force. Just went to her first duty station. She's just a couple hours from home. So they're definitely. I do this for me, but I also do this to show my kids. Obviously they're not little kids anymore. But my girlfriend, we live together. She has an 11-year-old son and a 3-year-old daughter. So now it's like I do it for me, and I'm also doing it to show these kids right here what it is to be a warrior and to be a badass.
You truly are. You inspire me, my friend. I see. The crazy thing is, maybe I shouldn't have asked Helen the questions that I asked her because this is different for me. This is the first time I think, other than Liam McGuire and Linton Vassell, that I really have two fighters that will razz each other, but really respect each other going into the Trigon. And that's how the sport is supposed to be, and I really like that. You know, Monica, two things in my life that I think merit respect, and that's your walk and the way you conduct yourself in the sport. And you've overcome so much. If you had to, I know there's several things in our lives that we can look back and, but if you had to pinpoint one of the moments that truly made you realize that this was the path that you needed to be on, what moment was that, and who kind of gave you that push, that nudge that you needed to?
Um, Honestly, the first fight I ever had back in 2014, I had only been training like 4 months. And who gave me the push? I'll answer that right now. The kid, Jason fucking Knight. Like he was the man. He was one of my main training partners for years and years and years. And Alan Belcher was a huge mentor to me. But my first fight, I wasn't very sure that I wanted to fight. I had so many doubts going into that fight. But as soon as they locked that cage and I looked at that girl in her face, I was like, if I don't fuck her up right now, she's gonna fuck me up. And a minute and a half later, it was over. And the feeling that I had after that, I knew right then and there that this is what I was gonna do, until my body said no fucking more.
Whoops.
Absolutely.
Sorry about that. Everything's touchscreen, people. I apologize. I didn't get my PC out today, but we're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to wrap things up.
BYB Bare Knuckle hits the Big Easy for the first time Saturday, July 13th from the John A. Alario Event Center for BYB 28, Bourbon Street Brawl. Two of the biggest and baddest bare knuckle fighters in the world today go toe-to-toe inside the mighty Trigon as undefeated BYB heavyweight champion Hurricane Ike Villanueva takes on number one contender, the Cuban assassin, Gustavo Trujillo, for both the BYB heavyweight belt and the historic Police Gazette World Diamond belt. Our co-main event, former BYB lightweight champion Monica Medina gets her wish and steps into the Trigon against undefeated Helen Peralta for the inaugural BYB Featherweight World Championship. Catch these matches and more live. Visit BYBExtreme.com for tickets and information.
I love that commercial, man. I got to admit,
Badass.
well, the card's badass. But I've been with BYB for a little while now, and I got to tell you what, there's some unsung heroes, and I don't care if my listeners or whatever don't care, but there truly are some unsung heroes in the production crew and the people at BYB. And a big hats off to Don Povia and his staff. Don's a man. I mean, so do I. I always tell him he's got the sexiest peach I've ever seen. I love him though. I do. I just love Don Povia. It's like I love to piss him off, but he's a man that I think gets credit from the promotion, but doesn't get credit from the sporting community for what he does. And I'm going to give him credit here today. And am I wrong about Don Povia?
No, he deserves all the credit in the world, man. Every time I've fought for them, from the time we get there, from the weigh-ins through the fight night, that guy is running around. He's handling fucking business. He's never stopping. He's taking care of business. And outside of that, leading up to the fight, he's always messaging us. He's taking care of us. That dude deserves all the props in the world.
Amen. Speaking about this card, I don't want to put you on the spot,
Yeah, go ahead.
but it's a Cuban hurricane season. I mean, this is probably gonna be one of the most, in my opinion, I don't know about anybody else's, but this is one of the most highly anticipated heavyweight fights in BYB history. I all I'm gonna say is if you miss it, you're a fool.
You're a
You
fool.
know, but what would Monica Medina like to say? Because I love both these guys. Here you got Ike Villanueva coming in. I think he's 4-0, beating Donald Linderman, the former champ. And now he has cojones. He has balls of steel because to face that giant Cuban,
That dude. Yeah.
that dude is just like a freak of
Yeah.
nature. And he's the next one to come out by show. So it's kind of like, I'm not going to say nothing bad about him, but there's nothing.
Yeah, no. I love Ike. I fought on a couple cards with Ike. I've seen Ike fight. I just love him. I saw the Cuban Assassins last fight. I don't really know him, so my heart, everything is with Ike. I love that dude. He's fucking great. I want him to keep his belt, but dude, like you said, he is fighting a fucking killer. Like, one punch and Gustavo puts anybody out. So it's a little scary. And Ike has big fucking balls, like you said, to take this fight. But that's because, hey, he's Mexican. They don't, Mexicans don't turn down shit. So, I'm always going to ride with my boy Ike. I love him to death. I want to see him come out on top. But honestly, I have no fucking idea what's going to happen in that fight. It's going to be fireworks. Don't blink. I don't give a fuck if my face is cut up. The doctor better leave me alone because I am not missing that fight. Like, let me watch that and then you can fix me up because I am not missing that fight.
Yeah, Ike's got some balls, and I'm like you. I've known Ike since the UFC, and when I had him on my show last week, he told me, he said, "Man, Linderman hits hard, bro." He goes, I didn't think he was going to be, but that was a damn good fight, and I think a lot of people counted Linderman out with Burns and all those, and he proved everybody wrong when he beat Tony Kryptonite Lopez, and then Josh Burns, and then he just continued, So I don't want to take anything from Donald Linderman. Ike was just the better fighter that night, and I started the show with it's hurricane season, baby.
It's hurricane
And-
season.
But see what I like about this, it isn't just the main event. It isn't just the co-main. This whole card from
One of
top to
my
bottom.
original teammates, Adam Nash, when I first started training, he was one of my teammates. We never got to fight on a card together, and I got him on this card, and I'm so hyped for him. You guys will see him fight. I'll be there cornering him. It's gonna be great. I love that guy, and I'm so excited to finally get to fight on a card with him.
That'd be dope. Yeah, you've never been on my show before, so you never know. But we kind of like do this little thing because everybody's thought process is a little different. And I know you already said you're not going to talk shit, but
I mean, I
things
can't.
change. No, 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 no. I already know, girl. I remember Denver. I remember, but
Hey, get me hyped up. I'll talk all this shit.
hey, all that smoke. But
Yeah.
it's fight night. You're standing in front of, well, let's say it's weigh-in night, and you're standing in front of Helen Peralta. What does Monica Medina say? What does Monica Medina do?
I'm gonna look her right in her eye and I'm gonna tell her, keep the same fucking energy that you had in that original fucking podcast. Bring everything you got. You better bring more than just that left hand because I already know that's all you got. Bring everything you got because I want all the fucking smoke. I want the hardest fight of my fucking life. And you best believe I'm bringing it all. And those, what, 12 minutes max? We're not going to be fucking friends. I'm going to try to take your fucking head off. I know you're going to try to take my fucking head off, but let's fucking do it.
Hey man, see that's what I like about you. You've been my homie since day one, and I think it's because you're just like me. You're straightforward, black and white. There's no in between. You either say what you gotta say or just shut your fucking
Or
mouth.
shut the fuck up. Yeah, it's one or the
Yeah.
other.
You know, I'm gonna end this show I waited to end the show on Jason Knight. Jason Knight has been in my life for a long time. And that man has been through some trials and tribulations and has overcome and adapted. You know what I know he's meant a lot to you, but what would you say was the most decisive part of Monica Medina that Jason Knight instilled change in?
Um, the mental part, not being a bitch. Because Jason did not give a fuck, He didn't care how small I was. He would come in training sessions and he would whip my fucking ass. He would talk shit to me. He would slam me on the fucking ground. He would punch me as hard as he could. And he's like, you're not going to be a fucking bitch. Like, if you can take this from me, you can take this from any girl at 125, 135 pounds in the world. So he instilled just not being a bitch, just being mentally fucking tough, not giving a fuck. I think I got a lot of that from the kid for sure.
Yeah. I love the guy. I
He's
always have, man. You know, he when he came over to Bare Knuckle, it was just like he was one of the first people I interviewed in Bare Knuckle, but we had already been buddies from the UFC and other things, and they don't make them like him anymore.
no,
They
no.
they just don't. I will always forever love that kid and the wars that he's had. I mean, I've never seen anybody cut so bad and
Man, it
get
just
back
makes him
up.
so happy.
Yeah, he gets off on it.
Oh,
It's
he
it's a
does.
trip.
He's an
But
ugly ass motherfucker. I hope he listens to this. He knows it too. You ugly ass. He loses teeth. He gets cut up, and he don't give a fuck. And I love him so much.
well, hey, Durant found out real hard that you lose a tooth real
Yeah,
quick.
hell yeah, he did. I'm trying to keep my teeth. So Helen, please don't knock my fucking teeth out.
Yeah. You know, this is the first time I'm ever going to do this. Before we get to your sponsors and all that, I'm going to hand the mic to you before we do that. I don't want to let you let the promotion, let the fans and the sporting world let I'm gonna let you give them a thank you or just anything you want to say to them because I know fighters don't ever get an opportunity to say because you go on those shows like you did with who we talked about and they want to build the hype, they want to create animosity. My job, I'm not going to sit here and say, well, you fought this person on this that you did because why am I going to share something that you already know?
Yeah.
I want to share something that people don't know. So the floor is yours, my friend. Let people know what you think about them and how you respect them.
All right. First off, to all the people that support me, all the fans, all my friends, I teach kickboxing classes and my students, man, those people are fucking amazing. Like they support me, win, lose, it doesn't matter. They flew out to Denver. They flew down to Tampa when I fought Pearl. Like they follow me wherever I go. They spend a ton of money to come support me, and win, lose or draw, they don't give a fuck. They just love me. So to all of them people, they know who they are. I fucking love you guys so much. Like it means the world to me. BYB. They didn't have to give me a chance. I'm fucking nobody. I don't have the best record in MMA. I never boxed before, but they took a chance on me, and I proved myself in that first fight. So thank you guys so much. To everybody who hasn't seen me fight, tune in, watch me and Helen. You're gonna see a fucking animal, two fucking animals, And if you're not a fan of either one of us, you're gonna be a fucking fan of both of us after this. I'm just out here, almost 40 years old. I'm having fun. I'm living my best life. So tune in, follow me, don't follow me. I don't really give a fuck. But you're gonna respect me after this for sure.
Hey, and you're gonna end up loving her like I
You're
do.
gonna love
She,
me. I'm a good person. I talk a little shit,
yeah,
but you know what? It's all fucking fun to me. Getting hit in the
yeah,
face is fun.
yeah. Like I said, we talked about this before I let you get your sponsors. It was funny in Denver too because I had to get Irwin off the bed into the ambulance. The Tenori was on the bed, and they were bringing the doctors wanted you to get looked at, and they're bringing you as I'm trying to get Tenori off the bed. It was all big, and then they hand me your belt, and I'm looking at the doctor going, "Wait, this isn't." And so I gave it back, but you made that trip for me. You really did because I don't even know if you remember in the back. I said I'm gonna get you. I said I
We
want to
did.
come on your fucking show.
Yeah, we were standing in the back. I remember. I
Yeah.
remember. And thank you so much for getting me on here. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. It's the fighter's voice. It's not my voice. I'm not even the greatest. I've been doing this for 24 years. I had a syndicated show for 22. I just like sharing with other people. I want other people to see other people's successes. I want to see their growth, and this world is so focused on just hating everybody and
Hmm.
causing all this bull crap. And I'd rather do my show the way I do. I don't pay for sponsorships. I don't pay for advertisement. I don't pay for nothing. If I can't bring it to you real and raw, I ain't gonna bring it to you at all.
Yes, sir.
And to be honest with you, I was kind of stoked when I knew you were coming on too. I wanted you on the show, and so when they offered you to me, I was like, man, let's do this. And
Let's do
next
it.
is Gustavo, and then I'm done with BYB 28, and I'm gonna need a translator on that one, but I already got one. So.
Probably.
Well, I remember the first time they gave me a Cubano coffee. I didn't go to the bathroom for a week, so
Dude, that shit is oh. I worked night shift. The first time I ever had some Cuban coffee, I worked with a Cuban lady at night shift, and she was like, "Here, drink some of this." I think I was awake for 3 fucking days after that. Woo.
well,
But
I was with them for a while, and Alex would hand them out, and I never got one.
mm,
And I was like, this is kind of weird. But then back in Rock Hill, they brought me about that much in a cup, and they're all drinking like this much, but they
and
brought
I
me
drank a
that
whole
much.
ass cup.
Well, because Cubans don't like to share their coffee,
Yeah.
and if they do, you're part of the family. And Vic walks up to me and goes, "What's that?" I said, "It's a Cubano." And he said, "Where do I get it?" I said, "You can't get it. They got to give it to you, bro." And so I said, "I'll tell you what. Let me chug part of this, and then you can have the rest." I didn't sleep that night.
Yeah. No, absolutely not. Nope.
But what I love about this promotion, about the Cuban aspect of it, is they don't treat anybody any different. They treat them like family, and that's one thing I like about the Cubans. Is once you're blood, you're always blood, and once you family. And I've never experienced that in 40 years. And because I worked in jujitsu, Muay Thai, kickboxing, MMA, boxing, and bare knuckle, I've never seen a promotion like this. And I just hope in my heart that they keep me until I can't go no more. Monica, I'm gonna toss the mic to you. If you have any friends, family, social media, any sponsors, the floor is yours. But before I hand you the mic, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to have you on the show. I'm not in the greatest health, and I'm really in a lot of pain, but I wanted to make sure this interview happened because I believe in you and I appreciate what you bring to the sport, my friend. The
Thank
floor
you
is
for
yours.
taking the time out, to have me on here.
Oh, thanks.
Sponsors, let me hope I don't forget any. Neo Life Physical Therapy and Wellness. I bust my ass. I break myself left and right, and those people have been with me for years. They take care of me. Neo Nutrition. I've got Barding Alternator and Starter. We've got Satsang Awakening. We've got Gray Logic Group. I've got Mr. Kelly Woods and his wife. Some of my students that support me, financially, they help me out. I've got our local GNC on board. I've got Lee Bakery. I cannot wait until this fight is over because I'm going to the bakery and I'm eating all of the good shit that she brings. Who else? Oh man, my girl Audra Cummings with the Stretch Zone in Hattiesburg. That's been a huge asset to this fight. They jumped on board with sponsorships, so I get free stretches. Got the best tips in the games. Thanks, Audra. I hope I got all of them. I probably missed somebody, and I'm sorry if I missed you. And then my two gyms, American Top Team in D'Iberville, and my number one gym, Graham MMA, Eric Graham. You guys are the best. Eric has brought out this person that I am now. Big props to Eric for that. And then my girlfriend, I fucking love you.
That's dope. Hey, go win. I know this isn't this is a title fight, so you could become a world champion again.
Hey, I'm gonna be a champ. And then if Patty Juarez will stop running up in weight, I want to go run that one back and get my motherfucking belts back.
You know, that's a hell of a plan.
I do.
You
I
know,
want my
because
belts back.
well, that trilogy with you and Patty Juarez was tremendous. But you know what? Now you can go, you get your belt in this, and then she come back down.
Yeah.
I'm all
One
game.
more time because in my heart, I know that I won 2 of those 3 fights against her, so she owes me one.
I feel you, homie. Thank you so much. You have a
Thank you.
tremendous 4th of July holiday week, and I'll shoot you a text and let you know how my surgery and everything went. But
Yes, sir.
go out there and show them why you're here. Go
Hell
out there
yeah.
and show them who you are.
100% gonna do. Win, lose, or draw, guys. You guys are gonna know who the fuck I am.
She's gonna represent the kids.
Absolutely. Representing for the kid, Jason Knight. See you
I
later, homie.
appreciate it. All right, peace out, homie. God bless. Bye bye.
You too.
Man, I love having her on today's show. I know my show's a little bit early today. I'm hurting extremely bad. I took as much pain medication or whatever you want to call it as I can. But thank you, Brian. This is my brother from Canada, one of the greatest brothers a man can have. I love you, bro. Monica is just this whole card. Like I said, if you don't tune in to BYB 28, then you'll never understand what it is to see a real promotion. I mean, the UFC and all that is great, but I like seeing men and women stand toe to toe, not run from each other, and just physically give you all they can. And you're going to find that in the mighty Trigon. And I'm so grateful to be a part of this ride and this journey. And I have one more show, and then my surgery is actually next Monday, and we'll be back after that. Hopefully we'll have, like I said, we'll have Gustavo on this week, who's getting ready to fight Ike Villanueva, also on this card. But people, BYBtickets.com, and if you don't get your tickets there, the next 4 fights are just incredibly stacked. I'm proud of the team, and especially Mel Valenzuela, because the dude is straight killing it. And I'm sorry my finger got in the way, but I used the touch screen today. But before we go, I'm going to run the commercial one more time, and then we'll be out of here. With that note, have a good day, and God bless.
BYB Bare Knuckle hits the Big Easy for the first time Saturday, July 13th from the John A. Alario Event Center for BYB 28, Bourbon Street Brawl. 2 of the biggest and baddest bare knuckle fighters in the world today go toe-to-toe inside the mighty Trigon as undefeated BYB heavyweight champion Hurricane Ike Villanueva takes on number 1 contender, the Cuban assassin, Gustavo Trujillo, for both the BYB heavyweight belt and the historic Police Gazette World Diamond belt. Our co-main event, former BYB lightweight champion Monica Medina gets her wish and steps into the Trigon against undefeated Helen Peralta for the inaugural BYB Featherweight World Championship. Catch these matches and more live. Visit BYBExtreme.com for tickets and information.
We'll catch you later. Please, if you can, give the show a share. God bless you. Have a happy and safe 4th. I appreciate you. And hey, pendejo, it is one hell of a fight card, bro. And there's another one coming back to Denver too, bro. So we love Denver, and I love you, bro. On that note, have a good day, and God bless.